empower me. And when I started at the beginning of the weekend, I felt I wasn't with, I felt uncomfortable because I was with new people and I had to meet new people, and there were strangers, people I knew who came to this event were on my team, and I was a bit scared. But I think we gelled pretty well over the last 2 days, and yeah, I think we have a pretty cool team.
Yeah. My name is Benedict, and I've never done any kind of event like this before. So I came here just, wanting to learn so much. At the beginning, yeah, it was a bit difficult trying to adjust because I've never done any sort of laws or anything. But luckily we had Judy here, who is an actual lawyer, so I was able to learn so much from her. And luckily we had these two guys, we had Vinu and Shalom helping out along the way. So yeah, in the end, I learned a lot from working with these people.
I'm Shalom. I guess I'm the user experience designer in this team. I didn't know much about the legal process, but through this design event, I was able to understand some of the flaws and maybe other things that I can look into, into my spare time. It was a really interesting experience, talking to people about an area that I'm not aware of. It was good to use their expertise and their information to inform users as well.
I'm Vinu. Hackathon, as such, for me was completely a technology thing, and I was very keen and interested to look at how a legal, process works in a hackathon environment. Here, I discovered something different. It was a complete reflection of my lack of skills around working in a team. How it became sort of kind of an experience to understand what those flaws were and how I could actually improve.
House Counsel, so we deliver wise counsel to your door. And it's brought to you by our wonderful team, Empower Me. I am Shalom, Judy, Benedict, and Vinder. Cool. So our original how might we statement was how might we empower people to know when they require legal services.
So as you can see here, we tried to identify, our target audience for this idea. So we came up with a list, and then eventually we narrowed it down to those texts in bold, those kind of people that we think will be the most vulnerable, especially in our local community. So yesterday we called them all up, tried to get their insights, and it was good. We realized that some of them were not quite willing to speak up. So yeah, that's where we developed our ideas. And some of them were like our friends, our family, our whānau, and yeah.
So here are two case studies of individuals who we tried to reach out. One of them was a domestic violence victim, and the crux of her situation was she was actually somebody in the hospital. So she knew what to do. She didn't have the means to reach out to the lawyer whose services she needed. We move on to the second case study, which was an elderly person again. This individual also required some bit of legal advice managing a bit of his property affairs. The issue was about mobility again, one, and two, he didn't have the guidance around whom to reach out, which property lawyer he could trust with, who's the expert in that, and whose services he could actually avail of. So the issue with the elderly person was more about whom to reach out and also how to reach. So we found the elderly person as somebody, as a group that required more of our attention and focus. So we picked up that specific group to address our solution, design a solution.
Okay, so from the people that we interviewed, we came up with a few insights that we thought were common across most or all of our personas. So we found that legal information was very difficult to understand for some people. A lot of normal people don't understand legal jargon and the situation that some laws are created around. Many groups would seek legal advice from a lawyer if they were confident, so if they knew that they needed a lawyer. But if they were unsure in any way, they would have no idea what to do. And a lot of people went to the Citizens Advice Bureau to ask for information over there, but that also required some people to take a day off work to do that, so they can make it during the hours as well. And a lot of people just preferred one-on-one legal advice, especially in a situation where they need help. They prefer that personal experience to help them get through. So yeah, we did focus on elderly people, mostly because they're very hard to reach. They're the hardest target group that we looked at. So we figured that if we can reach them, we can reach anyone. We can make it accessible for everyone. So we wanted to provide accessible and accurate legal information to the elderly community.
So the solution we came, well, I know this is a hackathon, and we didn't want yet another web app, so we thought, well, you know, what can we do practically, and especially when we talk to an elderly person who wanted a face-to-face contact, you know, and yes, elderly people, they can't Google, you know. This is something that there are extreme case groups. So what we came up with was a Meals on Wheels approach to legal services, and it allows elderly people to have one-on-one interaction with direct help with a lawyer. But how do we? Our next question was, how do we make sure there's trust, right? How do the elderly person trust the lawyer giving legal advice? So we came up with an idea where the legal volunteer, the lawyer who's volunteering to give the legal advice, will be paired always with a community volunteer. So that's what we. So this is a great quote that we got directly from Robert. He said, "You are actually providing a two-sided market for empathy, because we're actually thinking of, you know, we're thinking of the training modules that we have to give both the legal volunteer as well as the community volunteer, and as well as the actual elderly person." This is kind of the process that we've come up with. It's not a web app. Please do not try to click on it. So we'll start off with the 0800 line that elderly people can call. Most elderly people have landlines or mobile phones that they can contact their family or friends. If not, they could just go to their local library and make a phone call. Yeah, it's 0800 I'm free. And we'll be doing advertising on TV. Yeah. And yeah, so it'll be answered by a community volunteer. Calls will be organised through an app with the legal volunteer, and then they'll be making an appointment for the legal volunteer to go to that person's house.